On today's video, we're going to talk about the top 9 real estate trends that we see happening in 2022. What's going on? Alan Schwartz, your top real estate agent. On today's video, we're going to talk about the top 9 things we're going to see trending in real estate in 2022. A good article came out the other day from Windermere's chief economist Matthew Gardner, talking about the things he thinks is going to happen. So let's go over what he thinks. So number one, obviously the one thing that everyone cares about is home prices going to go up or go down. And his idea is prices are still going to go up because the demand is so high. But we really think that because of mortgage rates going up, the Fed's already said they're going to announce 4 rates locks up this year, that we're going to see less of a growth. Last year we saw about 16% growth in prices. He's seeing that we're only going to be about 6 because demand is so high, because inventory is so low. Even with rates going up, we're still going to see prices grow a little bit. I actually, in my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen is I think the low-end houses, the ones that need a lot of work, those homes are not going to get the highest prices they were before. But I do think if you're the nicest house on the block, you price it right, you'll still sell above asking price. So number 2, what we're going to start seeing is that the spring buying season is going to start earlier. And why are we going to see that? Well, because we've had such a tick up in COVID and more businesses are staying at home, more businesses are allowing people to work from home. That's why we saw a big increase in home buying in the last year, because all these people had to work from their home. People came back from college, things like that. And remember, we buy and sell homes to solve problems. So now if I own a 3-bedroom house with 3 kids, and now I'm coming home to work and I need an office because working at my kitchen table is not the greatest right now, I sell my house and I buy a bigger house. So we're probably going to see a bigger spring season if more people continue to work from home because of COVID. We're going to see home buying still increase because, like I said, people buy and sell homes to solve problems. So now we're seeing more problems. The next thing we're going to see that we definitely saw last year and the year before is a rise in people moving to the suburbs. Now that so many things don't need to be done in the city and then people are not commuting, they're starting to realize maybe they don't want to live in that apartment. Maybe they want to get farther out. Obviously, our buying power, the farther you go east, especially in Southern California, the more your dollar goes. So more people are starting to realize, hey, I don't need to live in this city. My favorite restaurant's closed down. My favorite place to go is closed down. Why am I living here anymore? I'm going to sell and move out there. Number 4 is new construction jump. Now that inflation is maybe hopefully going to get a little bit calmed down this year because of rate increases, building a home is going to cost less. In 2022 and 2021 during our Rialto property, we saw prices drop up $30,000 to $1,000 just on one house because of lumber and labor costs. So now that hopefully those prices go down, builders are gonna be able to develop more. The problem is we've seen a lot of developers building high-end houses because those people were able to buy a lot more. We really need houses more on the lower end. So hopefully the cost of goods and cost of service go down a little bit, allows the developers to develop more. That means more houses, more supply for the buyers, and will bring down costs a little bit. We're going to hopefully see about 1.2 million new homes this year and then 1.24 next year. We haven't seen those numbers since 2005. And remember, we talked about last week, the reason why we've seen such a decrease in building since 2005 or 2007 when the crash happened was because a lot of people left that industry. People went bankrupt. The small banks couldn't loan money out anymore. And now we're finally at a point where prices are at a point where builders can develop and make a good return on their money. Number 5, we're going to see a big push for zoning. Obviously, we've talked about on this channel SB 8, SB 9, and SB 10 that we got passed last year, basically allowing more zoning in California, allowing owners to put 3 extra properties or 3 extra buildings on their property, turning commercial into residential, things like that. So hopefully now that those laws just got passed, that people are going to start using those things to increase supply of homes, because the only reason we're going to see prices go up this year is because lack of supply. Because we have rates going up. When rates go up, prices go down. So the Fed is already raising rates. So the only reason we're going to see an increase is because we have so many buyers and not enough supply. Number 6 is going to be people start worrying about climate change and where they live. Not that they're worried about climate change and that they're going gonna start changing how they act in life. But when you go to purchase a home now, and you maybe buy it in a fire area, or what we saw last year with the tornadoes, now your insurance is gonna be higher than that, and can you afford living in an area where your insurance is actually higher? Me and my buddy were trying to actually buy a house in Tennessee last week, and it was in a flood zone that we found out later. Well, the problem with that was the flood zone insurance was an extra $250 a month. It just didn't cash flow us enough to invest in that property. So the reason why we didn't buy that house strictly was because it was in a flood zone area, just climate change. Number 7 is that we're gonna see maybe a push back into the urban community. I know I just said that people are moving out to the suburbs, but we're actually gonna see possibly people moving back into the city now that they maybe have to go back to work. Now their jobs are forcing them coming back to the office, that they don't wanna make that an hour and a half or 2-hour commute time from maybe Riverside to LA or something like that. So if you're someone who's in that market where their job is making them come back to work, and you're not used to making that commute time, there's a better chance you're probably going to sell your house, move back there so you don't have to drive 2 hours every day both ways. So number 8 is we might see actually an increase in investors coming up from other countries. Maybe not in Riverside because we're not really seeing those things, but maybe in LA and San Francisco and things like that. Now that the restrictions of flying are down and COVID's not as much, we're gonna start seeing people able to come back into our country and be able to buy up some houses. So we're probably gonna see a big increase in people doing like that, but that's probably gonna be seen more in San Francisco, New York, Seattle. We're definitely not gonna see that in Riverside in my opinion. And then the other thing about that is, what we talked about earlier, more people buying houses, is because we don't realize the average age someone buys a house is 30. Well, this year we're gonna have 4.8 million people turn 30. That's the average age people buy a home. And then in the next, and this year we have 9.4 million people turning 28 and 29. So we really don't see the delay or the decrease in buyers anytime soon. We have all these people getting to the age where they need to buy. So we really need to develop more. We really need to build more. That's the only way we're gonna solve these problems. And then number 9, forbearance is ending. I know when forbearance happened, we thought that there would be this increase of foreclosures and short sales whenever those got released. But I mean, right now we're only at about 900,000 people in forbearance. That's nationwide, when at our peak in May of 2022, we're at 4.8 million. So this big wave of people leaving the market or going into foreclosure because of forbearances, we're just not seeing them, and we just don't see that being a problem. But even if it did happen and those people flooded the market, we're so low on inventory right now, and we wouldn't even see the difference in the market. Like right now in Riverside, we have roughly 160 houses on the market. The last time we saw a crash in 2008, I think the low in Riverside was 2010, we had over 4,000 houses on the market. So do you see how many houses we'd actually need to have to hit in Riverside just to go through another recession? I just don't see that happening anytime soon. So here's the top 9 things we think is gonna happen this year. I agree with most of them. The biggest thing about real estate is that, when people write articles like this, they're more nationwide, and that's not effective for every city, just like in foreign investors. Like, we're not gonna have any foreign investors come to Riverside. There's just no reason for it. And I don't see more people moving downtown if downtown's an urban area. But hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, comment below, please share. If this information was good for you and you like it, please hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. And until next time, guys, peace.